Hello, everybody. Dr. Lindsay Bira here, clinical health psychologist, bringing you more mindful minutes, sponsored by Mind Science Foundation to give us all the time to sit, settle, and grow. We're focusing on emotional wellness during this, so please join me. The first one we went over the basics of mindfulness. What is mindfulness? The second one, I dug into this concept of gentle curiosity, which is essentially a hack into practicing mindfulness. So you can review that video. This third one today is one of my favorites. This is the power of the breath. For anybody who's been attending the mindfulness group that I've held for a little over 7 years now, you will know that this is something that I do all the time with mindfulness because it's such a good exercise. When we adjust our breath, we adjust how our brain is functioning and how our nervous system is functioning very immediately. The more that we practice this, the more we have control over our heart rate, our blood pressure, our emotional reactivity, and just kind of how we're functioning emotionally and responding to events. If we think about why this is, my handy brain model here, when we take one deep, slow breath, we know from the neurobiology research that when we breathe in, our brain pays attention a little bit. So if we breathe in super quickly and suddenly, our brain kind of lights up. If we breathe in slowly, it's just kind of paying attention. Whenever we breathe out, especially if we really stretch out the out breath, and this is key, the longer we make the out breath, the more of a relaxation response that we have. The brain reads us breathing out slowly and assumes that there's nothing to pay attention to, nothing to react to, and so we have a lowered heart rate, lower blood pressure, and our frontal lobe actually comes online just a little bit more. So we're able to regulate our emotion, our attention, and our behavior, even with one slow, deep breath. Now, this is kind of comical because our ancestors, our grandparents have been telling us whenever we're upset, just take a deep breath. Now, in that moment, that feels a little bit invalidating because we're very upset and that emotional signal needs to be heard. But there's actually truth to this because people know that when we take a deep breath, something changes. So now we have the science to back that up. And when we know the science, then we can put things in action that help us kind of have more control. So let's kind of work on this because there's a certain type of way to breathe that's best. So first of all, I just want to kind of start this with, most people can do this and experience some benefit, excuse me, but there are some people that get a little bit more anxious when they pay attention to their breath. There's nothing dangerous about this, nothing bad is going to happen, but we can just kind of see what happens and observe that. Usually when we practice it more, that goes away and we actually get some amazing relaxation benefits through breathing this way. I always share the story of when I was practicing this in graduate school with this group, somebody was leading me through it. I thought everybody was faking the relaxation benefits. My mind was just going and going and going, and I had way too much to do. And the last thing I wanted to do was sit there and do nothing and breathe. But the more that I did it, the more I was forced into that. One day it just clicked. And it's something that I use to go to sleep, to manage frustration while I'm waiting in line, or whatever it is that's happening. I always tap into my breath. And so this is why I believe in it so much. I also use it with my patients. So this is a part of evidence-based treatment for a range of mental health issues. So focusing on the brain science, let's practice this. So we're all going to activate the frontal lobe of our brain as we do this. Okay, so first of all, let's kind of do this, a little bit of a formal mindfulness exercise. So if you feel comfortable doing so, I want you to close your eyes. And first, just kind of notice how you're breathing, just naturally, what feels natural. Just kind of observe how much your lungs are moving, how much your chest versus your belly is moving. And then with the intention of making a healthy shift, I want you to really slow down your breath. So on the next inhale, really stretching it out, making that air stream slow and smooth, constant and relaxed, and then allowing the breath to follow. And again, taking that slow, smooth inhale, really allowing the lungs to expand and notice what it feels like as they do so. And then letting the out breath follow, very slow, very smooth and relaxed. And as we breathe this way, we also want to make sure that we're breathing, leading with our belly. So continuing to breathe slow and smooth. I want you to just kind of let your belly go, let it hang loose. And draw your air in, starting with your belly. So as you inhale, your belly expands and your chest follows. And as you exhale, everything slowly deflates. And another key part of breathing this way, this is diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. We also want to make the exhale longer than the inhale. The goal is to make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. So let's just kind of practice this. So breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and continuing this. In the very last part, as you breathe out here, we also want to pause at the top of the inhale. So in that space of stillness before the inhale turns to the exhale. So in your next inhale, holding at the top of the breath, just observing that complete stillness, noticing, and then allowing the exhale to follow, really stretching out that exhale. And repeating that process, pausing at the top of the inhale, noticing the urge to breathe out, but just observing that, and then letting the breath follow. Repeating that process, really noticing what it feels like to breathe this way, the temperature of the air, respecting our body to know exactly what to do with the air that we bring in. And pausing at the top of the in-breath is a great metaphor for sitting without acting. So we might pause at the top of the in-breath and we might feel an urge to breathe out, but we don't want to act on that yet. We want to act when we're ready. It's the same thing with emotions. We can observe them without letting them drive us. And that's a good kind of space to recognize that at the top of the inhale. Taking your last deep inhale and letting the breath out gently, very slowly. And at the end of your exhale, you can open your eyes feeling alert and relaxed. All right. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to Mind Science Foundation for sponsoring these mindful minutes and all of the great programs that they offer. They bring amazing speakers in and really support the science. So thanks for joining, and I will see you next time.